think the future there'll always be a little bit of unlicensed boxing, but I think it's had its heyday. You know, when it was like illegal to do and all that, that was half of its appeal. And because it was illegal and there was no rules around it, you did get better fights. And I'm afraid now, while there's the cage fighting around, where they're allowed to do mixed martial arts and all that, the unlicensed boxing is going to come second to that, I'm afraid. Now, it's had its heyday. They'll always do it. They'll always be it. And you'll have the bare knuckles at the odd gypsy sites and all that. But it's been and had its heyday, you know. With the actual petering out of the unlicensed game, right, it's lost a lot of individual stars, and it's lost a lot of places that actually became famous, like, for instance, Caesars. You know, that was a mecca. You know, it was a mecca for the fight game. And I, for one, will miss Caesars a lot, and I think an awful lot of other people will. And it was a very sad day when it closed down, especially for the boxing fraternity. It made a lot of people rich. The place made a lot of people famous. It ended a lot of people's lives going to Caesars, and it made a lot of people's lives. You know, the actual club itself breathed. It lived. It was a person. You know what I mean? It was a person, not a building, and it's like a person dying. Caesar's closing. It's like a genuine funeral, and that is the God's honest truth. However pathetic that might come out, Caesar's was a person, a living person, and when that place shut, it was like a funeral. In its day, as it was actually turning not illegal but unlicensed, it was the most exciting thing out there to watch.
A lot of the boys, as I said, that come off of the street, rather than stab each other up or shoot each other, if you've got a problem, isn't it a better place to do it? In the ring, in front of 800 people, and may the best man win and take the prize. You know, and you know, everyone's fighting against knife crime. No one wants to see anyone get stabbed up. It's not really a fair way of doing something. So ultimately, yeah, I think most people would prefer to come and watch two people who are having an argument or a dispute get in the ring and resolve it with a pair of gloves and the safety net of doctors, ambulances, and a ref. So yeah, ultimately, I would prefer to watch it that way as well, rather than someone getting shot or stabbed, because it's a waste of time.
Before I started boxing, I was like a very aggressive person, loud, shouting at people, fighting. Just basically when I'm going out clubbing, I just wanted to get in the fight or whatever. But now I've started boxing and that, I've learned to calm down, and it's not worth fighting people in the street or whatever. Just take the anger into the ring. If I stayed unfocused, I think I'll be in prison. Well, sad to say, probably dead. Just the worst, really, like the worst things that can happen, really, yeah.
I'll be probably selling drugs or robbing like a lot of my friends in Brixton, like my mates I grew up with, you get me? Or just, yeah, I'll be in jail, probably.
Not everyone can see it's a good thing, like, take for instance, I got this 16, he was 16 at the time, his name was Troy, and he had a lot of potential. He was really good, well versatile, he was a kickboxer and he was a boxer, and he just wanted a chance. He comes from a background of like fostering, and he's seen a lot of heroin use, and he was a thieving and using drugs himself. And me and Joe got him away from that side of the life into boxing, and he was fighted on a couple of shows, and the police come to the show, said he's in foster care, he's 16 years old, blah, 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 he's not to be fighting on the show. So the police have basically cut off that avenue where he could have a good life and something good, you know what I mean, sports and and they've sent him back to the avenue of nicking cars and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that was about a year or something ago. He's old enough now and he's going to be fighting on the next show, and he's one to watch for, he's going to be good.
Even tonight I was meant to fight you, but it was, Joe, what are you fighting for, 44 years of age? So, because every time I see the guys want to get in the ring, I want to get in there and do it.
As you know, because it's prize fighting, and the winner takes the prize, basically, yeah? You know, a lot of them come straight from the street. They've got no intentions of training. They see it as like, I can have a good tear-up on the street, I'll get in the ring and I'll have the same tear-up. A lot of boxers now, if you want to do something properly, take it serious, and they train as a standard sort of thing, an average standard. When you train, you've got a better chance of walking out of the ring. When you don't train, you've got more of a chance of getting knocked out of the ring or knocked down in the ring, in my opinion. But there's guys that defeat science and they get in there, they haven't trained at all, and they win all the time. You know, if you've got a bit of skill, then you're half in front.
You know, it's not like a fight on the street, a little blowout for a minute. You know, it's literally you're in the ring, you're both in there to do a job. There's rules and regulations. You touch the gloves and you get on with the business. So you got to train. You ain't got to cut corners. You cut the corners, you cheat yourself. Really, that's my main philosophy. Yeah.
If you channel yourself, if you're training for boxing, you channel yourself to your boxing. You know where you're going. You're going to push yourself to go that way.
You got to have heart. You got to have arsehole. You can't put any of those into a fight. That human being has to have that in them. Also, you need to have a punch. If you don't have a punch, you definitely got to have a chin. And ability. You got to have a certain amount of ability. If you ain't got any of those, then I'd definitely go into something else.
A lot of people, I fell into the trap of, because I could have a little bit of a row on the cobbles, I actually believed I'd be a good boxer. Well, that's a completely different game.
It's a very dangerous game, you know what I mean? If you don't train, your whole body is kind of at a stage where anything can happen to you. You know what I mean? But if you train, your muscles are alert and everything is ready, you know what I mean? If someone hits you with a good punch on the head, you know what I mean? You could get really hurt, or on the ribs, or anywhere. You get internal bleeding, or anything, you know? And these people, they take a big risk going in the ring without training. You know, you can see how people look, you know what I mean? You know, oh, I'm just gonna get through it and then that, but you can get really hurt, because one punch in the wrong place of the body could cause a blood clot, could cause anything that happen to you, you know? And then that could be the end of the story for you.
Well, I normally start my workout with a bit of stretching, just to loosen up the muscles. Then I go into shadow boxing, which is mainly practicing moves for the type of opponent you're going to be boxing. This time I'm fighting a tall guy, so I was doing a lot of head movement, a lot of body shots. And then generally after that I move on to a bit of bag work. Again, just practicing the same sort of punches, practicing moves, you know, general fitness. I do a lot of my preparation at the Peacock because you're training around a lot of professional fighters. It's a 50-mile round trip for me, but you know it doesn't bother me. And generally, you know, you've got the best trainers up here and the best sort of fighters, and yeah, I love it.
I've got plenty of kids coming in, like I said, you know, and I've got all different ages and sizes, and people are unfit, and it's not all about just about boxing; it's about fitness as well. So although I've got professional fighters, I have the general public coming in to get themselves in shape, and they do it like our boxer would do, but they don't get hit. That's the only difference.
Double jab! Double jab! 1, 2, 3! 3! 1, 2, 3! You're on the strain now! 2! Come on, you're under strain now! He's putting you under pressure! Well done, he's putting you under pressure, that's what you want! You got
Dedicated, they're strong, you know, they look fit, they train hard, and I think, you know, with a bit of encouragement, you've got 1 or 2 lads here that could go quite a way.